Mixed Messages is a podcast by Bree Graham and Emily Madigan, two mixed women trying to navigate the complexities of living between multiple communities in these divided times. On today's episode, it's Emily's birthday! So we are going to give you a full episode dedicated to questions for Emily. Let's get into it. Da-da, 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 da-da. It's Emily's birthday. Ska! How did you like that?
How long were you waiting to do that? Because I saw the look on your face as I hit record, and I was like, I can only imagine what that's going to be like.
It's your birthday! Hi, Emily.
Hi, Bree.
Happy birthday.
Oh, thanks, baby.
Ooh. So for today's episode, I thought it would be fun to just make this an Emily-focused episode. And so I have some things for you.
Much to my dismay.
First of all, how are you?
Episode. Today I'm sad, girl. Yesterday I was enjoying myself because I was cooking for like the first time in my life for other people. So that was really nice.
Yeah. How was your Thanksgiving? What did you make? I saw that you've been cooking more. What's going on?
Yeah. I mean, we did like a brunch because it was just our household because we're following the COVID guidelines. And,
I love a brunch. I love a brunch. A brunch and anything. And not like,
I know.
Not like white girl brunch where it's like, oh my God, bottomless mimosas. I mean, like, I love hash browns. I love like a fruit mix.
Yes.
Like, I love brunch.
I love breakfast all day. And so if you want to call it brunch, fine. I just like to eat breakfast food. But we had, my mom made 2 pies, an apple pie and a no-bake pumpkin pie. We made homemade coffee cake. We made egg bake, what are those called? Deviled eggs.
What is egg bake?
Basically, you just put a bunch of crap in a pan and cover it with eggs and throw it in the oven.
Okay, that sounds like my nightmare.
It's like a breakfast casserole, if you will.
That is the most Midwestern thing I have ever
I know.
heard. Yeah.
It's pretty gross. We grilled like a bunch of veggies and made cornbread stuffing from scratch.
Okay.
Cornbread stuffing from scratch and grilled a bunch of stuff because my dad loves to grill. So
when did you get on this like cooking more train? Like what happened here?
I have no idea. I literally woke up one day and I was like, I can't keep living like this. I cannot rely on the microwave anymore. It's time for me to get over my random fear of cooking. Although I did see something on Instagram today and I have to read it verbatim because otherwise I'm going to screw it up. Hold, please. Hold. Okay. It says, if you were praised as gifted as a kid, especially academically, you've likely developed a habit of abandoning tasks and projects you don't succeed at naturally, thus cultivating a complex where even perceived failure sends you into an existential spiral. And I read that and I said, well...
Okay. Before I get into my feelings by like comprehending what you just said, can you send that to me? And that's going to be in the read for later tab.
Yes, I got you. I'll send it to you right meow.
Okay.
So,
Gemmels,
yeah,
are you ready to get started?
I sure am.
Great, because you've already answered 5 questions.
Oh, God.
Got it.
I hate you. You're so dumb.
Okay. What are some of your day-to-day rituals?
Oh.
Do not look at me like I offended you by asking that question. You said, I
mean, like, rituals to a Sagittarius are pretty fluid. The things I try to, like, stick with in the mornings, I try to make my bed right away when I wake up. That's a newer ritual. I try to brush my teeth immediately, although that is shifting because I'm realizing that like brushing my teeth and then drinking coffee doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Yeah, no.
So I'm trying to drink coffee first, but I've been trying to do the whole like brush your teeth, and I've started doing like turmeric and coconut oil and baking soda with my toothpaste to try to whiten my teeth.
Sure.
Do
Hippie stuff.
The oil pulling. Yeah, I'm all the hippie stuff. I'm supposed to be doing many other rituals that I don't do, but Yeah, that's my favorite way to start my morning. If I'm the first one up, I do the dishes as I listen to podcasts. That's my favorite thing to do. Hashtag 32.
I love that. For those of you that don't know, first of all, I'm a Taurus. I love a routine, and Emily is like, I would never say that you have like a routine, but you kind of
I kind
do,
of
but it's
do.
not like a set
No,
routine.
no.
Mine is like written down in my notes, like, here's what I'm doing today. And if I don't do these things, then my day is off. Where yours is more of like, this is what I like to
Yeah.
do. This is the vibe.
However, I have a Virgo moon though. So I try to do that whole like list thing because I'm like, this makes me feel good,
Yeah.
but I rarely actually check anything
Hmm.
off the list. So
Right. But one of the reasons why I thought Emily would be so great for this podcast is when we lived together, we would always start our mornings off in the kitchen. And I was always coming back from the gym or going to the gym.
yeah.
And Emily was just kind of like waking up and like brewing the house coffee and whatnot. And so we would always have like this like 30-minute
Hmm.
morning check-in before anybody else in the house was up.
Oh,
And
it was
it
hours
was one of my
before
favorite
anybody
things.
else got up because we're both, I mean, I wake up
Yeah.
at 6:30 at the latest every morning. So like it's just
Yeah. We are bona fide
yeah.
certified morning
I love
people.
mornings.
And then we are also the first ones to be like, oh, it's 8:30. That means if I leave now, I'll have 30 minutes to get my skincare routine in before bed. Anyway, um, next question I have for you.
Mhm.
I don't know if you ever shared this, but what was your favorite movie that you watched during spooky season? I know that you made like a thing on your Instagram of watching a scary movie every day, and I'm curious to know if you ever had a favorite.
You know, I my favorite one aside from like my usuals that I watch was probably Lights Out. I've seen it before, but I revisited it, and it's got
Okay.
old girl from Coyote Ugly, the bar owner, in it. She plays the
Okay. Yep. Yep.
mom,
Yep.
and it's like it's more of it is scary. It is a good storytelling, with a few
Okay.
jump scares, which I'm not really a big fan of, but it's just another really interesting take on like mental illness and how
I
it
love that. That was
affects.
like the Babadook.
Yes, it's similar.
Babadook was cool that way.
Yes, it's similar to the Babadook, except it's like not. I
Okay. Okay.
don't
Fair.
want to give it away.
Moving. That's fair. That's fine. I just wanted to know for those of the people that were like super into
Interested?
that. But anyway. Yeah.
Nobody.
Anyway,
You and my mother.
how many tattoos do you have?
3, unfortunately. I want more.
Why,
I want
unfortunately?
more. I got one at 18 and I got like 2 at 19 and then I stopped because I was like, you know what I don't have money for? Tattoos. And all 3 of them were like a last minute decision. Like, I don't know. I guess I'll
Yep.
get this. And I don't hate them. It's just that like, I want to put more thought into the other ones that come. I really want to get like an under the boob tattoo. No, it's super. That might be a little basic, but I just want to feel like Rihanna. So I just really want
Yeah.
like a
That was actually great because that was my next question.
oh
Do you want to get more?
yes,
You
I do.
That's one of the things that I actually really find funny of all things to have in common with you. Both of us have tattoos, and when we've gotten them, it's been fairly
Yeah,
spontaneous.
and listen. I love a spontaneous moment,
Me too.
but I want to have ideas. So when the spontaneity hits me, I'm like, don't worry. I'm not just gonna pick something like close my eyes and like pick a random picture in your book. You know what I love? I love finger tattoos.
Me too.
Do you
I
really?
love
Okay, I
them. I
love them and
love
I
them.
want them so bad, but I'm like, what does one get on their
Right.
fingers?
That's the thing. It's the part of me that wants to be Zoe Kravitz so bad that wants
Oh,
like the tattoos everywhere. And then there's
yes.
a part of me that's like, ooh, about that hand modeling career.
Oh, I'll never have
Ooh.
a hand modeling career,
Not
so I'm
that,
chilling.
I was going to say, not that my hand
My hands stay ashy. It doesn't matter how much lotion I put on my hands; they stay ashy. So I'm that career.
That is so
This
funny.
path has sailed.
Um, that's actually really, really funny. The only tattoo that I have ever planned out, I sent it to you on Instagram, and I was like, "Oh, that didn't age very
Oh,
well." It
no.
was my very first tattoo. It was my first tattoo. It was the Jesus piece, and I was like,
Oh,
"Oh,
girl, my
I
first
don't know."
tattoo is Jesus-y too, right on my hip, pointing straight at my lady bits.
You know,
So
okay. I am asking you
what?
formally to
What?
never say that specifically on this podcast again. Um,
it out.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you. Well,
well.
okay. Also, fun fact about me, even though this is
No,
an
please, no,
episode
no,
about
please,
you.
please, 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 please. You know I hate this.
I got a tattoo once on a date, and it was my idea. I wanted to do it, and I don't regret it. I have never heard from that man ever again, but
That is
I
most
do not regret it.
that is most Leo rising thing I think I've ever heard you say.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah,
It was like,
yeah.
I want you to be committed to this moment. Yucko.
I hate
Okay,
it.
anyway,
Nasty.
next. Ooh,
Oh.
next. What gets you out of bed in the morning / like what lights a fire in you?
Hmm. Wow. Um. It changes. Right now, it's very different than it usually is. Coffee is always the first thing. That's what actually gets me out of bed. That's not true. I get out of bed willingly. That's
Okay.
what gets me out of my
Oh,
room, I should say. Because I'll just get up and start
aha. Okay.
dinking around my room and cleaning it, whatever, in the morning. But what actually motivates me lately is just been doing a lot of like work on familial trauma and baggage and curses and that sort of thing. And so what has been motivating me is trying every day, since I'm currently living with my parents during COVID, is to find new ways to interact with them and to look at the ways I move about my family and trying to change those things for to healthier patterns. So that's been my sort of motivation most of the time. It's just, actually, I would say most of the time, it's really just me getting the opportunity to have another day to work on myself and to fix or grow myself as a person.
That's really, really mature. I really love that for you.
Oh, thanks. That's probably the only time anybody will ever say I'm mature, so I appreciate that.
No, I mean, I thought that was really cool. I can tell you right now, there has never been a day in the last 365 days that I woke up and I thought, cool, another day, another day to try to be better. It's probably been back to this shit.
Oh,
Sorry,
no, no,
I
no.
cussed.
No. Let's be perfectly clear. I don't wake up with like birds in my ears going, oh, thank you so much for that. It's usually me going, oh my God, please, 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 can I go back to sleep? I don't want to do this again. Oh my God. Sometimes
Yeah.
I get up and it works. And sometimes I'm like, you know what? Today's just not the day.
Okay. That's hot. What artist has been your pandemic vibe?
Megan Thee Stallion.
How? How has that been your pandemic vibe? How?
Because when you are, I don't want to say hitting rock bottom, because I have been at rock bottom and this is not rock bottom. So, but I I've been like, when you're just essentially stuck, all I need is to feel internally energized, and listening to Megan just internally energizes me. But if we're going to go for like an actual vibe of who I am,
Yeah.
I would say it's a mixture between like Jewel, like sad Jewel songs.
Yeah, sad girl Jewel.
And Sade.
Yeah. Sade.
So like No Ordinary Love meets Foolish Games.
Sure. I love that because it's completely opposite, but I love that.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine. Okay. Out of our selection, what has been your favorite podcast episode?
Okay, topic wise, I would say the transracial adoption episode.
Mm-hmm. We've got a lot of really amazing feedback on that one. That one was really, really great.
It's just not something many people talk about, I think. And
yeah. Well, and Patrick was so vulnerable.
Yes.
And so
he was
sweet.
so open. But format wise, I really loved what you did with the election results episode, or the election reaction episode.
Okay, full disclaimer, I love that episode too, and I need everybody to know that like we didn't really plan to have that like spread out the way that we did. It just so happened that like an hour after you would record, I would record, but we were not in contact with each other like about it.
Not ever. Not ever. Not. I mean, we were in contact, but it was never about that. It was just like, are you watching the news? I can't watch the news anymore. Are you okay? I'm not okay.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
And I felt like we kind of went like on a similar journey throughout the day, which was really, really great. And there's a part of me that almost kind of wishes we would have recorded like where we were at like Friday, Saturday too. But
I gave up. I blacked out.
That's what it was.
I blacked out. I don't remember. I was like on it. And then once it started looking like we were going to be okay, I got super hopeful, just completely forgot about what we were doing. I also love that, like, you were like in the store and you're like, I'm really stressed out. And so I'm going to buy this and this and this and to make me feel better. And I was like, I'm really stressed out. I'm going to eat something real quick and go to sleep.
Yeah, you're just like audibly chomping, and I was just like, I can't even do anything about that. That was so. I love that we both went to like our panic things to make us feel better. Like that was brilliant.
Oh, yikes!
Also, really happy with the results, because I truly think we probably would have had to take an extra week off if the results would have been
okay.
Different.
Side note.
What?
Have you heard about this? Like, I don't know what the hashtag is. It's like cancel Georgia or boycott Georgia. Girl. So the Trumpeteers are out there.
Stop.
Because they think that the Republican candidates for the Senate in Georgia that are up, their seats are up for re-election on January 5th, are not in like big enough supporters of Trump and were a part of the election fraud. So they're trying to boycott the Georgia elections, which means the people that would vote in the Republican candidates are boycotting the elections, which means we're essentially a shoo-in. I mean, I don't want to say that and jinx it, but like, oh no, it doesn't make any sense. Nope, it doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
Because they don't like the Republican candidates because they don't think that they are, well, far right enough. They're not a part of the cult, but they are. They've matched Trump for like almost step for step along the way, but apparently that's not good enough. Which, look, you know what? You guys are right. You're right. You're absolutely right. I believe those Republican senators in Georgia are 100% trying to cause election fraud, and I think it is a very smart and patriotic choice to boycott the Georgia Senate elections.
Okay. Also, sidebar to that sidebar, I've been like really fascinated by cults lately. Ever since I watched that NXIVM one on HBO, which I
should watch that.
It's insane. And there's this podcast called like Cults. I'll send it to you.
Please send me both of those things. I appreciate you.
Yeah, okay, I will. Next question. What do you miss the most about live theater?
Rehearsal.
Why?
The creative process is when I am working and have that kind of job, that's what gets me out of bed. I love being in a room with a bunch of creatives, putting together a show, everybody bringing their own individual skills and creativity to the process, and to watch it sort of mold and form and take on its own life. And then I do love performing as well. I'm the type of person though that like, which is why I've sort of shifted more into like associate choreographer positions, because then I rehearse and I'm there and I'm there and I'm there. Opening night happens and then I'm gone. Now, it's not to say I don't enjoy the ongoing contracts. Hire me. But the rehearsal process is my favorite thing. If I could just be in rehearsal for the rest of my career, I'd be fine with that.
I love that because I feel like I was just starting to really enjoy the rehearsal process. I think there's like a very fine line that you walk in the beginning of your career, right? Where you don't necessarily know if you're allowed to speak up in the rehearsal room.
Yes.
And you don't really know like how much.
Oh, I still don't know.
Right. Like how much of this can I play around with, and how much of this do I have like wiggle room in? And so like just knowing now as the adult that I am, and like the stuff that I've done, like that I can show my personality a little bit more in rehearsal rooms, because I'm like, I feel like I'm completely different people when I'm with like my people versus when I'm in the room, and I'm like, I feel like I'm far more interesting when I'm with my people.
Well, that makes a huge difference. Like doing a show with people who become your people,
right?
That makes all the difference in the world,
right?
Which is that didn't happen for me until later in my career.
Well, and also when let me not get on my soapbox about this, but when you're so used to like,
Go ahead.
what is it called, code switching, that and to get jobs, it's like, so how much of my personality can I really show?
Oh, yes.
Next question. This was a question actually from IG. A couple of these have been so far, but this one was from IG, and I thought that one was really interesting. What are you the most proud of in your life?
Oh, what am I the most proud of?
Yeah.
Aside from my little brother, who I feel like, because my dad was working all the time, it was sort of just my mom and I when he was younger, sort of raising him. Not just, but like it feels like I'm one of his parents. And I'm so very proud of him. I'm proud of all of my brothers, but I wasn't there for the other two's whole life. But other than that, just I'm proudest of my learned ability to admit when I'm wrong. And to be able to learn from that. I think that is a skill that is not very, it's becoming more of a, people are aware that it's not something that a lot of people have, because why would you, in the day and age of social media, where you say or do one thing wrong and suddenly you're a social pariah. But just understanding that
Right.
it really don't matter as long as you learn from it and grow from it. That's it.
Who/what is one of your biggest inspirations?
Oh my God. Oh. Women, Black women specifically. Period. And it's not just like, because that's like the cool thing to say now. It's sort of been that way for forever for me, and women in general. But my whole life, like, yes, my mother is my mother and I love her to death and she's always been an inspiration to me. But I learned at a young age that I'm going to move through the world differently than she does. And so I started looking for people that moved through the world the way I would have to. And Black women.
Yeah. Okay. I love that.
Black female identifying humans. Doesn't even have to be assigned female at birth.
I would also like to just like take that question. I look, I'm recognizing that I'm asking questions within questions, so we're probably at 32 at this point when this is transcribed, but I don't.
It's fine.
I want to get just like a little bit more specific with that question. Like, artistically, who is your biggest inspiration, or what?
That's really hard. There are a lot of mixed race dancers that I have been a fan of for years. One of them is Danielle Polanco. She's Puerto Rican, but as we've discussed in this podcast before, that generally means you're mixed. She's incredibly talented and very skilled. And I've been following her career since, oh my God, since Omarion's Touch music video came out in like
yikes,
early 2000s. Yikes. Listen, that's my jam. That video is fly, and she was everything.
One of my favorite things is when we talk about like our music tastes from like when we were like teenagers, and it's purely like, mine is curated purely based on vocals and yours is curated purely based on the music video.
100%. If you don't have like, I have listened to songs where I'm like, this song is awful, and then I see the music video and they're dancing their behinds off and I'm like, okay, this is my jam. or even worse now in a time of YouTube and social media, song music video, wow, that's not very good, but then some dancers get a hold of it and do their own thing.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've watched you. I've seen you do it.
What's this song, Please Me, by Cardi and Bruno? Yeah. I was like, this song is dumb. Saw the video and I was like, this video is dumb. But then I watched, she goes by Damn Della. Della something. She's one of Usher's dancers, and some guy. He was background, essentially. Do a duet to it in like some warehouse in the rain, and I was like, it was the sexiest thing I've ever seen in my life, and I was like, I love this song. I love this song now.
I am so fascinated with you and how like you know dancers. I've never met somebody that like knows dancers and they're like, oh yeah, this person danced for Beyonce, this person danced for Janet,
Mm-hmm.
and like Michael. Like you just like know people like that. I think that's like really cool.
Unfortunately,
That's a fun
now
fact
I
about you.
don't know their names, and I only know their Instagram handles because that's how you follow people now.
Yeah. Well,
But yeah,
here we are. Here we are.
we are.
Next question. What led you to professional theater?
An accident. True story.
Yeah.
Not really an accident. It was more so like coercion, maybe. So I danced growing up. I did a little bit of theater when I was younger, but I learned at a very young age that I don't really like politics in any form. That includes in the entertainment industry. And as a young child, I noticed that the same people were always getting picked to do the leads and everything in community theater. And I was like, this is dumb. I don't like theater. But it was the same way in dance, but I was able to move up in dance a little bit faster because it was just a natural skill for me. And so I was like, whatever.
And then a natural skill for me.
I mean, says the girl who can don't even start with me. And then I did some theater in high school later on in high school, and I was like, yeah, sure, it's fine. As long as it was a musical and we were dancing, it's fine. I did do one absurdist comedy play, which I had a lot of fun doing. It was the first time I realized that I could be funny on stage. And not just
you are brilliantly funny on stage.
Oh, thank you. Thank you,
No,
baby.
you
I
really
appreciate that. And then I graduated high school and I was going to move to LA, and I realized that LA was very expensive and I had like $1,200 to my name, and I was like, I'm not going to do that. Didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. That's not it.
Mm-mm.
Almost joined the military.
Oh, I cannot believe I will never get over that. I feel like we need to give the listeners like a second because that is just what?
I almost joined the army. I had the paperwork filled out. I had my physical scheduled, and I didn't. And my mom was like, "Chanhassen Dinner Theater is doing Hairspray." I was like, "Cool," and she goes, "You should audition." And I was
I
like,
didn't know it was that close.
Oh,
are you kidding me?
That close?" And I was like, "I'm good."
Oh.
And she was like, "Emily, I am sick and tired of watching you not use your dancing and not use your artistic ability." She's like, "I paid a lot of money. If you don't use this, I'm making you pay all of it back." She said, "You owe audition, or I'm basically," she's like, "audition or I'm disowning you." And I was like, "Fine, jeez, God,
oh
Mom.
My God,
Wow." Ugh. And then I did, and and the rest is history.
girl, that's crazy. I had no idea. That it was that close. Wow. Yep. Okay. I don't know.
So thank God they hired me. Otherwise, this would have been a very different life.
Girl.
Lord.
Yep. I'm sorry. Did you have I can't. I literally can't. Anyway, did you have any mentors or role models for like professional theater?
I actually did. I did have some mentors. So actually, Tam Kangas Erickson was one of my mentors. She choreographed some of my high school music review productions.
Just for those of you that don't know, Tam was our choreographer for Hairspray. I did not know that you knew her before the show.
Yeah, yep. And so she actually had offered me a swing position for West Side Story, because we were doing West Side Story at the Chanhassen at the time. But I would have meant that I would have had to basically quit school and do homeschooling, and I would miss being with my friends and graduating with them. And like an idiot, I said no. And I was like,
I'm so annoyed with you.
I'm so annoyed. I'm still kicking
right
myself. And I was like, really? But I did. Because I was like, at that time, I was still like, no, this is only going to be one, I've got a lifetime to do that. This is high school. But like, I hated high school. Why would I want to? I was afraid that if I left, that the friends that I had would forget about me, which none of us talk anymore except for Chloe and I. And Chloe and I will be together forever. But like, that's that's it. But yeah, and then when she stopped choreographing the shows after I graduated, she told the director there, she said, I think Emily should take over, but I also think my friend Kim Chambers should take over with her, and they can partner together. And so Tam and Kim really guided me through. Kim really gave me a lot. I mean, they both really, really supported me.
Wow. I feel like I just got the inside scoop. I did not know that. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, next question. What do you hope to see change in theater when and if the pandemic is over?
You know what I really want to see, and I want to see this across all entertainment. I want to see more Black stories that have nothing to do with the comparison to whiteness. I don't want to see any more slavery shows. I don't want to see any more. Not I don't want to see any more. I think those are important and historical things to talk about. I think they're all very important, but it's not all that being Black is about, and that is all we are ever given as far as entertainment goes. No matter what, I mean, just the fact that we exist and are doing anything about Blackness in America, there's going to be an element of racism and racial identity in it because of the state of our country and our world, and the fact that we're still fighting it. So that's always going to be there, but it doesn't have to be the main focus, and it's always the main focus. I want an In the Heights vibe of a show for Black people. I was
literally just about to say that.
That's what I want.
I was just about to say that.
That's all I want.
Yes.
Is like
100%.
It's a beautiful story about immigrants just trying to make their way, but it has nothing to do with, like, yes, they touch on gentrification, but it's not the focal point. Yeah, they talk about people that back when this used to be an Irish neighborhood and Mr. So-and-so had this, and they touch on it, but the focus is on the people in the community. And I just want that for the Black community. That's what I want more than anything. And I want it directed, written, choreographed, produced, starring all Black people of all shades, of all
100%.
sizes and shapes and backgrounds. And I want that. I want that more than anything. And I think once we have that, that's going to change the entire game.
I could not agree with you more. And as you were talking before you said Black in the Heights, I was like, I think this is what she means. And then you said it.
That's all I want. I just want that. Ugh.
I have rapid fire questions for you now.
Okay.
It's the next 10. The next 10 questions are rapid fire questions, and you have to answer them. And I will put up a timer. You have to answer them in like 5 seconds.
Okay.
Unless you want to like add like an explanation to it, then I'll give you like a little bit more than that. But like, I'm not going to give you anything.
Okay.
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 Let me set my stopwatch up. Are you ready?
Yeah.
What would you bring with you on a deserted island? Go.
A book, my pipe, and snacks.
Great. That was 10 seconds. You are bad at this.
Oh, I'm terrible. You know I suck at these games. Oh my God. Okay.
What is your favorite city that you've ever been to?
Washington, D.C.
Love it. You made that in 3. I love that. Great. Continuing on. What is your favorite junk food?
Chicken fingers, but not real chicken, like the vegetarian
Really?
ones. I can go ham on those. I need a whole bag.
Okay. What is the hardest part of adulting?
Paperwork.
Oh, paperwork. Okay. What is the most fun part?
I really get to decide what it is I want to do with my time and my money. Whether it's smart, it doesn't matter, but I get to make the decisions.
This next section is called recommendations. I'm going to ask you to give me a recommendation. You have 5 seconds to answer. You ready?
Oh,
let's go. Yeah. Music recommendation.
Nerdy, Minnesota-based singer and rapper. He's incredible.
Great. Food.
Portobello mushrooms grilled, but marinated in like balsamic vinegar and soy sauce and like rosemary and thyme. It's real good.
I'm genuinely in on this like vegetarian vibe for you. Like
I'm into it.
as a vegetarian, I'm really into that for you. A book recommendation.
I can. It's right there. Girl, Woman, Other. It's a Black author. It's really really moving, and it's all about Black women.
Oh, okay.
Just different Black women and the way their lives are and how they intertwine. It's stunning. It's stunning.
Okay. Audiobook, if you listen to them.
I don't listen to audiobooks.
Great. Podcast.
Ours? Crime Junkie.
Yes.
Crime Junkie is, that's my go-to.
It's a favorite. Okay, that was your rapid fire questions. I have 2 more questions for you, and that's it.
Okay.
What is something people do not know about you?
There's a lot of things that people don't know about me.
Yeah, you do be harboring some secrets.
I hold my cards pretty close. Here's the thing. People would be surprised to know that I hold my cards very close to my chest. Maybe not, but I just the thing is I have a lot of cards. So the ones that I don't want you to see, I hold here, and the rest of them I just throw in the air, and people are like, "Ooh, pretty, cool! Look at that. That's a lot of movement." And I'm like, "Good. Don't look at this hand." I am the epitome of a Sagittarius sun with a Gemini rising and a Virgo moon. I am an introvert at heart with a lot of extroverted masks that I can put on at any given time. But I am the happiest, like just at home in I switch from sweatpants to sweatpants, and it's not just because we're in quarantine. It's because that is what I like to wear. I'm just comfortable in things that are just comfy.
I can co-sign that. I will co-sign that for you.
If I can wander around and then go to bed in it, I am happy.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, final question for you on your birthday episode.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want for your birthday?
World peace. No, I do want world peace.
No, that's great. Cue it. Cue the music from Miss Congeniality. We're done. Thank you so much.
What else are we gonna do? Was that it?
What do you want for your birthday?
Oh, what do I want for my birthday? I said world peace, then I was gonna come up with something else. She said, nope, that's it. So I thought that was it. I thought that was it.
This has been Emily's birthday episode of Mixed Messages. Yay!
Yay!
As a special treat, I am going to leak some audio. No, I'm not. We are going to play a little bit of Emily's interview with her mom and dad so that you can hear what you're missing out on our Patreon.
Basically, we're trying to give you FOMO, so you're going to get a clip.
Yeah. So thank you so much for listening to today's episode, and we will plan on seeing you next week.
Bye.
Hi, Mom and Dad.
So just a question that's sort of going to come out of nowhere, but we'll circle back to it later. Did you guys ever talk about race growing up? Was that ever a conversation in your homes?
Not at all.
Not at all?
Mm-mm. Not as a family as a whole. My mom and I would talk about it once in a while, but I think I was an adult when we started talking more about it. And it was probably because I started to date people of other races. My first boyfriend was, his family was from Mexico. And then, of course, your biological thing. Yeah,
we call him a sperm donor.
Sperm donor. He was black. I thought he was mixed, but turns out I'm wrong. Turns out I'm wrong about a lot of things. But anyway, so we
sort of touched on that.
But yeah, we talked about it a little bit, and my mom, I had to call her out a few times just because of her language she would use. And in her head, she didn't think it was bad language. I believe that. And that, unfortunately, I think is part of the thing where I grew up in a bubble and, not noticing, differences in skin tone or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Colorblind.
Just because there were people in my life as I was growing up that were different shades,
right?
And weren't just white. because my mom and dad knew a lot of people locally in music. And so it didn't occur to me that somebody wouldn't like somebody because of their skin tone, because they're black specifically. It never occurred to me.
Yeah.
It didn't occur to me when I was in my 20s. I went out. I mean, the people I hung out with, people loved whoever they loved. They didn't care if it was same sex. They didn't care.
I mean, it was the 80s. You were in your early 20s in the 80s. Oh, I'm so jealous.
Best time ever.
Well, and I'm going to jump back now because for me, growing up I grew up in the Highland Park or McAllister Groveland area of St. Paul, which is, they used the phrase white privilege. Back then it was. I mean, it's more multicultural now, but back then it was very rare. My junior and senior year, we brought on a baseball coach because, as I mentioned, that was our love of playing baseball, and he wanted integration so bad.
And what year was this, Dad?
This would have been 1973. But that helped us a lot because it opened our eyes to realize, because we weren't around them as much, that they were just like us. They wanted to play, they wanted to compete, they wanted to win, but there wasn't any at what cost. Right. We all just wanted to play the game that we love.
Speaking about race growing up, I just want to share real quick about the first time I ever witnessed racism. It's very vivid in my memory because I didn't understand what it was. Two of my friends, one of them, her name was Monty, and her family was from Texas, and she had 2 older brothers. And another friend, her name was Kimmy, and the 3 of us used to play together. Monty and I white, Kimmy was black, and I think back then she was the only black child in the neighborhood. I think her family was the only black family in the neighborhood. But the 3 of us were like best friends. And I want to say I was nursery school to kindergarten age. Her brothers came out one day and they stood across the street throwing rocks at us.
Who did? Monty's
brothers from Texas.
Okay.
Throwing rocks at us and saying, "Blackie, go home." And I remember we picked up rocks and threw them back and said, "Whitey, go home." I didn't know what was happening. That was the first time I ever...
your friend.
I was, and I didn't understand what they were... I mean, I didn't know what they were saying was bad, but I knew it wasn't nice because Kimmy looked sad. And so Monty threw them back at her own brothers. She didn't care.
Atta girl.
We both picked up rocks and threw them back. And I don't remember what happened. I don't remember how my parents handled it. I don't know that did I ever tell them? I don't remember. I was so little. I mean, I was like 5.
Right.
Anyway, sorry.
No,
I digress.
No digressing. I digress often here, but there's no need to digress. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode, which was awkwardly all about me, but I appreciate the fun and I appreciate the questions. Shout out to everybody who sent in their questions on Instagram. For more information, check out our website at mixedmessagespod.com. Follow us on all streaming platforms, follow us on all social media, and don't forget to check out our Patreon so you can hear the full interview episodes that Bree and I recorded with our parents. Thanks again for listening. See you next week. Thank you.